Introduction to Yunmeng Notebook. This story of youth before, maybe I didn't want to be lazy, but I know I'm really lazy. My current life situation I can change, but I don't want to change suddenly. Looking back, I didn't expect that I had become so lazy and thorough. I want to change, to make a complete change, not to mention being reborn. At least we need to change our state. I want to see myself as a third party. Go write down my experience. Perhaps this is just a diary. Perhaps this is my story. This is my experience in college. Maybe it's not exciting enough right now, but I believe it will be very exciting in the future. My experience, my insights vividly remembered. As long as I dare to write, someone dares to look. Prologue. You are listening at novel full.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. I want to be more positive, at least not so confused anymore. I need a little motivation to change myself. I have been in college for almost 2 months now, but I found out that college is not as good as I imagined. The most tiring thing in college is actually playing games. Sleeping at 1 or 2 o'clock at night has become the norm. In class, we usually play with our phones with our heads down. The daily life at 3 o'clock a.m., eating, sleeping, and playing with my phone. I feel a bit numb. I don't even know what I'm going to do myself. I want to write a novel that doesn't need to be too particular or have much literary talent. I just want to record my daily life in college. If I'm bored, then I'll find something new. If it's plain, then let it add some waves. If humble, then I will make it brave. I want to change. I want to live my own life, but without external forces. My nature is always hard to change. Often at night, I think about changing tomorrow. Tomorrow, I forget everything and continue to lie down. I have been trapped in a dead cycle. It's really speechless, but I don't want it to be like this. It's very contradictory and difficult to decipher. Or, to put it another way, I still haven't thought about cracking it. So, I want to write a diary to turn my life into a novel, to record, explore, and discover what my life really is like. Perhaps there will be brilliant colors, perhaps a faint pallor. I want to look at myself with the eyes of a third party in search for my life trajectory. Even if I simply record my life trajectory every day, it is still a difficult task. It takes a lot of time and a persistent heart. I want my story to be seen by more people, my joys and sorrows, my daily life, my love and hate. Perhaps it may be boring at first, but I will listen to readers' suggestions to improve myself and make my life more exciting. Let's talk about my university. I worked hard to get into high school, but when I got there, it wasn't as I had hoped. I was lazy and lying flat now. As someone who used to be full of energy, I was immediately confused. I didn't know how to grasp the direction, nor did I know how to be myself. I have been lost for a long time, and I really can't keep learning. I don't know why. It's really frustrating. So I've been thinking about how to change, but there must be a way to change. I plan to have a long-term vision and make a long-term plan. And this book, like my diary, like the script of my life, I will record my daily moments here, hoping that many people can see and be inspired. I have always believed that every ordinary person will eventually shine brightly. But I also know that sentence. Everyone has the opportunity to awaken, but some people cannot awaken for life. So, I want to examine myself through the eyes of a third party, reflect on myself, and change my life trajectory. Not only do I want to be the real me, but at least I can be an excellent myself. I want to become better. I don't want to lie flat anymore. I don't want to be lazy anymore. I don't want to casually click on a certain sound, and an afternoon will pass. In the future, I will write this novel. It doesn't matter if anyone reads it, so I will keep writing it. One day, I will meet you who share the same aspirations, move forward together, and grow together. At the same time, I also hope that more people can give me advice. I will humbly accept it and do better. Finally, I want to write a novel in the form of a diary because I came across a sentence. As long as you dare to write, someone dares to read. 10.25. You are listening at novel full.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, I am quite confused today, with a lot of time, but I don't know what to do. After the PE class in the morning, there was no class, and there was no class in the afternoon. It was too free. It's just that people like me are too ordinary and ordinary, not tall, not handsome, not wealthy, and afraid to actively communicate with others. Isn't this safe? Is this the current situation of an ordinary college student like me? Then I climbed back to the dormitory from the playground. I couldn't help but turn on my mobile phone in the dormitory. I accidentally turned on TikTok again. My fingers kept moving like this. After an hour, I looked up at the time. I can't help but question myself. What exactly did I do? Indeed. I'm still too lazy today, I'm a bit depressed. Perhaps I don't have a clear goal. I keep asking myself, what kind of person am I? But there has never been an answer with this thought in mind. It was time to start cooking. After finishing the meal, I returned to my dormitory and accidentally started playing games again. After playing for a while, it was almost 12:30, so I hastily settled down and fell asleep on the bed. I woke up at 1:25. Because the disciplinary inspection department has inspection arrangements, I was arranged to check the number of people from other classes entering the classroom. To conceal my helplessness, I told my roommate that I was going to another classroom to see beautiful women. My roommate has already figured out my trick. Those who don't need to be at 8 a.m. are forced to be at 8 a.m., and those who don't need to go to the classroom at 2 p.m. are forced to go to the classroom at 2 p.m. On the way to the classroom, I was also thinking about what I really wanted to do. Perhaps there were too many ideas, but too few actions, which was not good. I arrived in the inspected classroom 15 minutes early, and my other member of the disciplinary inspection department has already arrived. He is still good looking and works with great speed and determination. After the class bell rang, 4 people slowly entered the classroom one after another. The class we are checking is Introduction to General Medicine. I just casually listened to it, and the teacher said that a general practitioner has a wide range of knowledge, roots in the grassroots, and can see many diseases, but many are not specialized. The meaning is that general practitioners, usually those in the community, can also be considered as village doctors in our understanding. In relatively poor areas, they do need to carry a medicine box and walk mountain roads to provide door-to-door services. The service targets of general practitioners are basically fixed, that is, residents or villagers within a community or village. If we work longer, perhaps we can witness the birth and death of a family. This is indeed a great industry. After the first class, my inspection task ended. After walking back to the dormitory, I found that my roommates were not sleeping yet, playing games. This kind of life is really a bit comfortable, but as I become more comfortable, I become lazy. I have also been assimilated. So I sat in the dormitory and chatted with friends on WeChat for over 2 hours before continuing to eat. There are computer courses and elective courses in the evening, but because my mind was spinning during course selection, the 2 courses collided and I had to choose one of them. Because the elective course was the first class, while the computer course was the 4th class, I chose the elective course without hesitation. Ask your roommate to help sign in for the computer class. In fact, it doesn't matter what class you take. You can't learn anything, you're just playing with your phone with your head down. You can listen to it a little bit, but what you've learned is really not much. The elective course I took was evidence-based medicine anyway. I didn't understand much. It's just that drug research requires correct experimental methods. There are also several internationally authoritative academic journals. The most impressive thing for me is that the teacher said, the best treatment method for critically ill patients is to join a clinical trial study. Because conducting clinical trials, all drugs and equipment are free of charge. Then I didn't listen to anything else and chatted with my classmates for a while. After reading novels for a while, 2 classes passed without realizing it, and then I realized that skipping classes was actually nothing. This kind of thing. Skipping classes for a while was satisfying, and skipping classes all the time. Another thing is that the teachers for elective courses are relatively lenient, so we won't take elective courses next time and will instead take computer courses. Because I skipped class and didn't go to the computer, I came back much earlier than my roommate. After returning to the dormitory, I didn't know what to do anymore, so I clicked on WeChat and continued chatting with friends. When we were almost 10 o'clock, I finally remembered that I needed to take a shower. After taking a shower, I continued reading novels for about an hour. I was ready to go to bed. I accidentally turned on TikTok again and brushed it for half an hour unconsciously. A day passed like this. Looking back, I didn't even know what I had done. It's so speechless, so confused. I remember everything I did, but I can't change anything. I'm a bit speechless. Okay, I admit, it's me who is quite useless, staying only in my thoughts and implementing them in my actions. I have a plant, and every night before going to bed, I stare at it for 10 minutes with a smile on my face. This way, my bad mood will dissipate a bit. Before going to bed, you also need to do pre-sleep preparation exercises, stretch your body, adjust your breathing and mood. Just go to sleep when you're down. Today's content lacks vivid details. Please find the Shuyuan website www.zhaoshuyuan.com tomorrow to see if you can add them. I want to try to describe more details to make this novel look less like a journal. I also want to describe more of my inner thoughts and the process of making changes. By the way, when I was in high school, I heard from my teacher that I shouldn't give up the entire forest for just one tree. I only realized in college that there wasn't even one tree. I feel a bit at a disadvantage. I didn't grasp the beauty of youth well in high school. Universities don't even know how to find. After arriving at university, I realized that there were actually not many opportunities and time for communication between ordinary male and female students. They just picked up their books and left immediately after class. And even if you can add QQ and WeChat, you don't know what to say in the end. I can only say that people like me find it difficult to find girlfriends anyway. Because their strengths are not outstanding enough, or they don't have any strengths. And I dare not immediately say, I want to chase you. I feel like this is too presumptuous anyway. I feel that finding a girlfriend is both difficult and challenging. I couldn't even take the first step out. It seems a bit useless. However, I can't be too difficult on myself, can I? That's it, slowly change. Firstly, if you are not handsome enough, then find a way to make yourself look a bit more handsome. How to change oneself. Learn skincare, makeup, dressing, changing hairstyles, and facial expressions. I'm really doing it. At least now, every time I cook, I say, "Thank you, Auntie." If there were fewer people, my aunt would still give me more vegetables. Also, I force myself to keep smiling. Anyway, I do want to change, and I am also changing. That same sentence, as long as I feel like writing, someone dares to read it. Thank you for seeing this. 10.26. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, I forgot to turn on the alarm when I went to bed last night. I woke up this morning at 7:40 and had classes at 8:20. A person like me, whose main goal is to not panic in the face of things. Still get up and wash up, go get hot water to wash your face, and then start applying some skincare products. To be honest, that snow-covered grass is really a good thing. It can remove those small acne marks and those slightly reddened ones. The effect is particularly good, and most importantly, it is also cheap and effective. There is no problem buying it on PPD. However, for some reason, my sunscreen is always applied unevenly, which is a bit obvious and causes me to struggle for a long time. Then I went to the cafeteria to eat noodles and crawled to class, feeling a bit tired. This class was about military theory, and I had 3 consecutive classes. The teacher was a bit aggressive. At the beginning, it made us all afraid to play with our phones and said we were very dissatisfied with our attitude. It's true that in the past, they wanted to learn but no one taught them, but now some people are willing to teach, but no one wants to learn. Modern college students, like me, have thoughts that I can't grasp, and I can't figure out what's going on. Although I am a little sad, but not much. The current situation of ordinary college students in contemporary times is like this. Those who talk about being awesome online are really rare in real life. They are all rare and lucky to meet anyone. I am not that kind of person. I cannot influence the environment, but instead, I am influenced by it. By the way, it's not good after a certain sound has been scrolled through a lot. The person's personality may become more or less difficult to describe. The content it recommends will become monotonous. Previously, it was just for learning some principles, but now it has become about watching beautiful women. Oh no, for this matter, I have already cancelled my account on a certain audio platform. I decided to turn over a new leaf, change myself, and start from deleting TikTok. But the video number of V-letter and the small world are all pervasive, and it will take me about 10 to 20 minutes to get rid of it after I accidentally fill it in. Although it's a bit unfair, if my roommate is in charge of teaching evaluations, he decides to give the teacher a 5-star rating, and I can't say anything, can I? Life is always full of helplessness. What can I do? If you want to change, you must first start by changing yourself. What can change oneself is one's own God. The delusion of changing others will only attract disgust. I can't even do it myself, how can I expect others to do it well? I feel a bit powerless. After the military theory class ended, I returned to the dormitory and continued to think about how to change myself. Then, I returned to the dormitory and played 2 more games. After having lunch, I returned to the dormitory and went to bed after brushing my teeth. In the afternoon, I had a chemistry experiment class and did a spectrophotometry experiment. It was a bit difficult to do. I have a friend named Brother Legs, which means tightening your thighs. He left the experimental report there, so I helped him get it. And now I have a template to copy the homework before class. I suddenly became interested and said to a boy next to me, I can look at my face, so I can help others look. The general appearance is actually quite simple, but if I delve deeper, I don't quite understand it. I only know how to look at those 3 stops, and my eyes. As for playing with anger, that's something that only gods can play with. I will take a look at people's early, middle, and late luck, as well as their financial, interpersonal, and technical abilities. Probably just a little understanding of how to recognize people. If you stop up, it's the area on your forehead. It depends on the completeness and fullness. If it's better, it's just that I had a good early life. It's a blessing for the whole person. People who can attend good universities are generally better at going to college. Middle stop is the area near the nose. Check for completeness, fullness. And also check whether the bridge of the nose is high or not, and whether there is meat in Zhonger Mansion. Women with a low nose bridge are more likely to encounter scumbags. If there is no meat in Zhonger Prefecture, interpersonal communication will be relatively poor. The solution is to smile more. Judging from this appearance, it's mainly about highlighting strengths and avoiding weaknesses, which can better showcase one's talents. Stop, it's just the mouth part. I don't really know how to look, I only rely on my feelings to judge. What is in charge of is a person's technical ability, as well as their later life situation. It should be recommended to have a smooth chin, as a pointed chin is not good. Another thing is to see if there is any flesh on someone else's nose, and if there is, it has the appearance of wealth and prosperity. As the saying goes, a little rich man looks at his nose, a big rich man looks at his eyes. A person's eyes, if there is a God, can have a good fate. Eyes are really important. Especially with a pair of clear eyes, they are really charming. To have a pair of divine and clear eyes, one must control their desires well. The above is a little bit of facial recognition method that I have learned, with an accuracy rate of about 70.8%. If there is a better method, I hope readers can comment on it. I am also willing to learn, but I just can't get in touch with it. After finishing the chemistry experiment class, I will receive the express delivery and return to the dormitory. After returning to the dormitory, I couldn't help but play 2 more games. I can't help but quit. I would rather read novels than play games, it's really a waste of time. For entertainment, there are also many methods, such as writing a diary and planning. By the way, you can also practice martial arts. However, in terms of cultivation, it is necessary to cooperate with breathing, otherwise it will not have much effect. I have self-taught the I Ching Jing online, but the effect is not very obvious. Because no one taught me what kind of rhythm to use for breathing. After arriving at university, I searched for resources everywhere and learned some breathing techniques, but it was not related to my martial arts. Just adjust your sitting posture and sit normally, relax your mind, take deep breaths at a certain frequency, and feel the rhythm and frequency of your breath with your heart. After more than 10 times, wash your breath, don't exhale, hold for 1.5 minutes, and then exhale again. This cycle repeats, and you can feel the energy in your breath. It is very beneficial for your body. This is just a way to change our breathing, whether we believe it or not is up to us to decide. Anyway, I feel like giving it a try won't cause any major problems. But when breathing, the environment should be quieter than the afternoon past. In the evening, I went for a run and picked up a delivery. I bought a lot of cosmetics for over 500 yuan, as well as a coat and shoes, and it was at the end of the month. Now we all have to save money to make up for the deficit. To change, there is always a price to pay. I want to first change my outfit and appearance, and then change my inner self. As long as I can afford the cost, I can accept it. If you want it, you must give something. And then at night, there was nothing more. I was writing a novel and a diary tomorrow. Let's see how to apply makeup and change hairstyles. I also feel that college life is very good, very free, and has given me a lot of room for development. As for whether I can be independent, it depends on my personal performance. I think universities are a resource platform, and we just need to find ways to take away the resources that belong to us. That's all for today. Good night, family. Hee, as long as someone dares to read, then I dare to write. And, this book is all free chapters. I don't know if anyone has read it. Next time, I will record the details of the class and see how I teach. I feel that observing oneself in this way and understanding one's behavior patterns is indeed very good. 10.27. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, 7. Get up at 25, wash up. Take my phone to check the course, accidentally click on the small world, fortunately I stopped myself in time. Apply some sunscreen, set off and have breakfast. Then, going to the classroom, I was alone throughout the entire process. After arriving at college, I didn't even have good friends anymore. I have a roommate who is pretty good, but she wakes up a bit late and after washing up, she rides her bike to the classroom. The relationship between classmates is not particularly good, after all, there is no time to communicate and no face to communicate. Everyone goes their own way after class, and I'm sorry to disturb others during class. However, it seems that I have always been relatively lonely as a person. Perhaps my thoughts are a bit unique, different from many others, and sometimes even a bit unconventional. Perhaps, I always want to be different from others, perhaps, I have a pursuit of excellence. Anyway, I don't know if I'm good or not. This class is a physics experiment class, where basic measurement experiments are conducted. Mainly about the use of vernier calipers, spiral micrometers, and physical scales. I just thought of a sentence. Are you lonely? Vernier calipers don't need to be read accurately. Although this is just a small joke, the experimental class is just talking nonsense, nothing else. Just writing. The pen runs out of ink. To be honest, after changing my outfit, my overall mental state has improved a lot. With a smile on her face, I feel a lot happier. I used to feel a bit envious and jealous when I saw a couple on the road, but now it's all just blessings. On the way back to the dormitory, what was on my mind. I forgot I went to the cafeteria for dinner, then went back to the dormitory, wrote my diary, and played 2 games. In the first game, my teammate said I played poorly, but I did. So, I won by stealing the tower. My teammate said I played well in the second round, and I did play well. I won directly with my teammates. I don't play games anymore. After putting down my phone and looking at the information, I still feel a bit empty. If I don't chat with others, no one will talk to me anymore anyway. There was still a slight disappointment, but I quickly adjusted my mindset. I have a bold plan, and I want to start my own business in my 3rd year. This is just a plan. I'm taking action now. In the first year, I want to change myself and reshape myself. I need sharp observation ability, strong analytical ability, accurate judgment ability, and first-class time management ability. The plan is here, and how to achieve it is another matter. I want to change my appearance first, then my inner self. I am not yet firm enough, nor do I have the courage and courage. Life is not regular enough. We still need to continue to work hard, face ourselves positively and bravely, and face life. I believe that even ordinary people can have a sky full of sparks. Noon, lunch break, wake up, wash up, go to the classroom, and play with your phone. Class is over. It's like not attending. Here, let me record the content of this class. This is an ideological and political class, which discusses why people need morality. The teacher spoke vividly, and the students lowered their heads without moving. The students sitting next to them were all playing with their phones without exception. Based on my judgment, this is a water-saving lesson. It doesn't matter whether you listen or not. Just pass the exam, all kinds of comments. Although it may not be good, it does make some sense. The main focus is on the content of the class, without any key points, and it's quite boring. I can't keep up with the teacher's thinking. Maybe it's because the teacher is too impressive. The teacher's lively and colorful speech aroused the enthusiasm of the vast majority of students, and I occasionally casually looked up after the ideological and political class. I went to the express delivery station in school to collect the package, which was a leisure brush. After returning to the dormitory, I started researching makeup. First, I clicked on social media apps online to see how to apply makeup. Then, combined with the method suggestions I asked my friends, I began to explore how to apply makeup on my own. The first time I made up myself, I used too much foundation make.up, which made me look fake white, so I used makeup remover to remove it. The first attempt at makeup ended in failure. Re-wash your face, moisturize your skin, and apply the isolation cream again. Then I learned to be smart this time, and applied a little foundation make.up. It's just a little effective, but not much. It seems that it is finally not so obvious. Then use concealer to repair some facial defects, and apply loose powder. Then use powder blusher casually, even next to the eyes. Alright, the makeup I painted this time is very light, but there is still some effect. It's just not very noticeable. It can be considered a barely successful outcome. My roommate said that men's makeup looks a bit strange. However, if the painting is not too obvious, it will be peeled off and then whiter. Without so many flaws, it will indeed look much more handsome. I am learning makeup, partly because I want to become more confident and handsome. I have read some books about facial expressions. A good face can also improve a person's fate. Although I don't quite believe in this, however, after putting on makeup, I am indeed much more handsome and confident. Perhaps fate is determined by a person's behavioral habits. With confidence, fate will naturally improve, right? To be honest, if I'm plain-skinned, I'm not really handsome. Otherwise, why did I reach this point where I still don't have a girlfriend or haven't found one? There are many girls that I can catch my eye on, including those in high school and university, but there are no opportunities to get close. Is the method incorrect? No, it's not. They don't even want to talk to you. I think this is the first step in losing. After learning how to apply makeup, it is necessary to change one's personality. Some people's temperament makes them feel like basking in spring breeze. Some people's temperament makes people feel full of negative energy. I want to improve myself, become more optimistic, kind, outgoing, and charming. After putting on makeup, I went to dinner and saw many instructors also cooking. Military training is scheduled tomorrow. Getting up at 6 o'clock is really a bit charming. After finishing the meal, I went to the class meeting and found a reason to run away after checking in. Go and participate in club activities. I joined a massage club, and there are really many benefits. I have learned how to find acupoints and various massage techniques. When you are tired, you can also relax yourself. And the atmosphere is particularly harmonious. I really like that kind of atmosphere. After entering university, there are really not many friends left. If it's a club, it feels very lively and energetic. Of course, I also study very hard. Otherwise, why don't I even go to the class meeting? My classmates in the class, I really don't have a very good relationship with them. I can't blend in either, nor do I want to. After learning massage, I went for a run. Walking on the road, I saw that the moon was really bright. A bright moon hangs in the sky, dotted with white clouds like ribbons, like a white train. The soft halo of moonlight falls in the embrace of white clouds, ethereal and stunning. My slightly restless heart suddenly calmed down. I thought of a poem by Xin. Summoning up a bright moon, shining on my heart full of ice and snow. When I was in high school, I walked back to the dormitory with 2 or 3 people every night, which was basically the happiest time of my day. I really miss that time, even though high school was just for memories, not for going back. Those 2 or 3 people are all my good friends. They used to be and will be. We often walk together under the moonlight, talking about various happy topics. One day, the moon is full of ice and snow, perhaps illuminating these 3 figures. After running and returning to the dormitory, I finished the PPT and FS. After submitting my homework, I took a shower and washed up. I have to go to bed early tonight. I finally completed a plan today, and I am learning makeup. Learning makeup is different from learning many things. It requires a lot of cost. I have paid. As long as I can afford the cost, then I will do it. Although it didn't seem like much, I bravely took the first step I wanted to change. Looking at myself in front of the mirror, I am very happy. I am more confident now. The first step is the appearance, the second step is the body, the third step is the heart, and the fourth step is the mind. I am striving to gradually change myself and move towards my goals. This is probably today's record. Good night. 10.28. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, today is training. I woke up 25 minutes earlier than yesterday. I am still walking alone on this road. Arriving at the playground, the company leaders arrived. Follow the flag and find your company. I queued up and bought 2 sets of second-hand training clothes. A set has been passed down for 3 generations, and people still wear their uniforms. The platoon leader is the instructor and a bit shy. There is nothing to be afraid of. They are all old fogies. I have never seen anything violent. Especially, I have been in college for almost 2 months and have already undergone a complete transformation. Because the training content is confidential, I won't be able to write about the process, otherwise I won't be able to send it out. I've been queuing for almost half an hour. I'm so tired. I woke up early today. People like me can't even join the army if they want to. I can only experience it during training. I can't even queue up well. The platoon leader is okay, a bit more relaxed. However, military training requires a military training attitude. Be positive, like my classmate. Like a puppet, speechless. Wow, it's so sunburning. It almost cracked open. 2 layers of sunscreen are not enough. The sky is clear, with thousands of miles of sunshine shining brightly. Wow, standing in a military posture is so charming. Lack of positive attitude and training issues, everything needs to be bravely faced. However, it's really easy to sunbathe. I need to apply 3 layers of sunscreen. I have been standing for almost 2 hours now, and the intensity is not particularly strong, and I also know some breathing techniques. I train my breathing while standing, but I didn't feel too tired. How to say it? This seems like an opportunity. There are various methods for practicing breathing eye contact that I have time to experiment with. If it's breathing method, it's very simple. Do I know if my method is correct? It's currently being tested, but I feel like it still has some effect. The first step is to relax both physically and mentally, maintaining a fixed frequency of rapid deep breathing. The second step is to focus your mind and attention on breathing. The third step is to use breathing to drive the force inside the body, and you will feel that the gas and breathing have power. The fourth step is to take a dozen or so breaths, take a full breath, stare and grit your teeth to swallow the breath, then stop breathing for 90 seconds and exhale. Repeat the above process for 10 minutes, and the whole person feels very comfortable. After the morning military training, I went to the cafeteria to have a meal. Those people were like wolves and tigers, sprinting for 100 meters. And I'm neither too slow nor too fast, just crossing the lawn. All the way to the same destination. Laozi once said in the Tao Te Ching, where a teacher is, thorns grow, and after a large army, there will inevitably be a year of calamity. That's probably the scenario I'm talking about. The place where Junyi passed by was as desolate as the passage of locusts. There's hardly any food left in the cafeteria. In the afternoon, wake up, wash and apply sunscreen, then fetch water, go out, and gather. There are still 10 minutes until the gathering time before I leave, so I'm not panicking at all. The clothes I wore during military training were just too hot. Fortunately, it was cloudy in the afternoon. I've been standing alone for almost an hour and a half, but fortunately, I can adjust my breathing. Fortunately, I know how to massage, so I can massage wherever it hurts. The effect is still very good, it can relieve muscle soreness and can also press acupoints. I want to say that joining a massage club is the least disadvantage. The traditional Chinese martial arts and traditional Chinese medicine are all very good things. But now there are fewer people who can use it. Just like that breathing method, after using it, it becomes more energetic and training won't be so tiring. I only know some simple methods and theories, and I'm afraid only experts can do other advanced ones. But I am also satisfied, I feel really good. Only universities can provide me with such a platform. I can have ways to collect various resources that I need, and teachers can also ask for advice. In high school, I really didn't learn anything practical. Some of them, maybe just negative emotions, maybe just intrigues, and cliques, I didn't really like them. Of course, I still have many beautiful memories in high school, but they all stayed in the first semester of my freshman year. Afterwards, it's not very convenient to divide the classes. During training, I deliberately adjusted my mindset. I keep smiling on my face and thinking about smiling. Later on, I found that the training state was really good, and I didn't reject or dislike it. It feels great, this training is also a form of exercise, let's have an opportunity to change ourselves. It can affect my physical strength, but there may be some loss in appearance. I must pay attention to sun protection. Training without studying is the most enjoyable, but it takes up a bit of time. I used to be able to play with my phone during class, but now I can't do training anymore. My phone will be put away. During training breaks, I massage myself to relax, adjust my breathing, and even smile. Smiling is really important, I feel like my heart has broadened a lot. This looks like what I want. After disbandment, take your phone and go to the cafeteria. There are really many people. Like locusts passing through, nothing grows. After returning to the dormitory, I received a takeout, which was a box of grapes. The grapes were particularly big, but they were quite sour. Flashy but not practical. My roommate returned to the dormitory and played games, while I was coding. Something was done quite well. I still need to continue learning the acupoints during massage. It's really important to know how to press the acupoints. When I get tired from training, pressing the acupoints can relieve a lot of fatigue. I'm ready to train again, I'm still walking alone. In college, I became even more lonely. In high school, there were still 2 or 3 people who could accompany me on the night road. In fact, if you really want to talk about it, my friends are really not many. On the contrary, there are still very few people who can receive my recognition, and I have not received much recognition from anyone. There's nothing to be conflicted about, it's just that different paths don't conspire with each other. An ordinary friend can only speak a few words normally. When we don't meet, even if we occasionally think of it, we will never get in touch. A good friend is different, just send a message to inquire when you think of it, there is no barrier at all. My good friend and I can talk about any topic anytime, anywhere, without any constraints, with a special sense of freedom, giving us a feeling of being able to speak freely. And I am very kind to my good friends, and in their eyes, I am also good. However, in the eyes of others, finding a book garden www.zhaoshuyuan.com, especially those who have conflicts with me, is different. It took me a long time to understand this, and now I just want to be myself. I never care about how others feel. I only care about my own feelings, I am too tired, I just want to be myself. The training at night is relatively simple, but my body seems to be a bit overwhelmed. Standing there, my hands started to cramp, and then my feet started to cramp. Just an hour and a half, I really can't hold on anymore. I have been in college for almost 2 months now, and I have become cunning. Whether to train or not is really of no use. If I had just started school, I might have been a bit shy and serious, but now, let's just go with the water. What makes me most proud is that I can face it with a smile. A bitter smile can be considered. My writing style is not very good yet, and I don't have many materials to highlight the key points. After learning, if there is a chance in the future, I can also write a poem every day, talk about an acupoint every day, use a massage technique, or use a health preservation method. It feels like recording my daily life is particularly meaningful. I can observe the patterns of my life, adjust and intervene in them, making my life more and more exciting. I have heard a saying that a person's fate may be determined by their habits and ways of thinking. Even though everyone knows this, there are not many people who can truly change it. I feel very lucky. I have gained inspiration through enlightenment, and I am gradually transforming myself step by step. The light clouds are as light as snow, and the moonlight is like a sea of light. At night, the moonlight is still so beautiful and bright, like my heart full of ice and snow. Today is the first day of training, I'm quite tired, but it's okay that I didn't get sunburned. 10.29. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, it's raining today, there's no need to train in the morning. Get up and wash up, wear casual clothes to have breakfast, be sure to wear casual clothes instead of training clothes, otherwise if you see those instructors or other leaders, you will have to greet them, otherwise you will be caught if you don't greet them. It's really disgusting, what rules are these? A cunning person like me, with just one training, how could it possibly change my thinking? As for whether my thoughts are good or not, I don't know. But it's just a bit rebellious, a bit carefree, and a little mischievous and playful. I just don't want to take it seriously anymore, maybe training is not good for me. It's really great on rainy days. There's no need to train, just stay in the dormitory. It only takes about 10 minutes to tidy up the internal affairs and then play casually. I also played 2 games specifically, and it wasn't until 10 o'clock in the morning that I continued to learn how to look. The most basic orientation is very simple, which is 3 stops and 6 prefectures, 12 palaces, and 4 defilements and 5 mountains. This is a rough method of physiognomy, and by looking at these places, one can basically judge a person's personality, ability, wealth level, and luck. We just need to know. Upper stop. Located from the hairline to the upper edge of the eyebrows, indicating early intelligence. Middle stop. Located on the upper edge of the eyebrows to the tip of the nose, indicating middle age, luck and social skills. Lower stop. Located from the tip of the nose to the chin, indicating good luck in later years, stability, and ability to do things. It is advisable to be full and bright for 3 stops. Then take a look at your ears again. They are large and full, and combined with the degree of fullness at the top stop, you can determine whether a person is intelligent. By looking at the height of a person's nose bridge, one can determine their career prospects. A high nose bridge indicates a stronger sense of career ambition. Especially for girls with low nose bridges, they are prone to scumbags. If the bridge of the nose is low, you can go and cushion it. Then there's nothing else. Smiling more can already solve the vast majority of problems. I have only learned so much. If I have time tomorrow, I will continue to learn. Learning to look at your face has many benefits. It is possible to judge a person's ability and personality, to determine whether to make friends with them, the depth of their interaction, or to choose appropriate ways of communication. Knowing one is knowing the other. Judging one's own abilities, in order to enhance strengths and avoid weaknesses, repair deficiencies, and be good at utilizing one's strengths to make up for one's weaknesses, is known as being a confidant. I haven't learned any methods to change my face yet, but I know that appearance comes from the mind, and the best way to change my face is to cultivate my mind. Consulting on how to cultivate my mind is another question. In the afternoon. The rain stopped for 15 to 20 minutes, and then I had to be forced to go to the playground to gather. As soon as we gathered, it started with a drizzling rain, and then it grew heavier and heavier, leaving me speechless. Getting wet, I would encounter any bird-like thing, get drenched in the rain, wait for half an hour, and before the rain stopped, let's go back. On the way back to the dormitory, my shoe was stepped on by someone else and fell off. I heard the sound of my heart breaking. Today's luck may not be very good. In the afternoon, asking someone else to help collect the package is comfortable without having to go by yourself. But it costs 1 yuan per package. Later, I showed my good friend his face, and he still had a pretty good appearance. At least that's what I think. After watching it, I played another game. I don't know why I like playing games. It should be the feeling of playing games. It's hard to describe. But games should be used for entertainment. I have never deviated from this original intention, so I still enjoy playing games. Playing games can make me excited, but playing for a long time can be tiring. If you read novels, it's very comfortable, and I won't get tired of reading them all day. Reading can really calm one's mind. My face is not very good, but I also have something to be happy about. My eyes are quite lively. It is said that good looks can change everything about one's appearance. A person's appearance is just their appearance, while their looks and temperament belong to the divine aspect. Form can only reflect deity to a certain extent, but deity is the most important thing for humans. So, eye contact is very important. How to refine your gaze. You can draw a black dot on a piece of white paper, then gaze at it without blinking and hold back tears. After more than 5 minutes, the eyes will feel very comfortable. Over time, the eyes will appear more focused. During the evening training, I kept standing until my feet were numb. Training is really exhausting. I asked my senior sister how to relieve it. It's really great to have a reliable senior sister. Go back to the dormitory to take a shower, wash clothes, and chat with friends for a while. At the code point, a day passed like this. Good night. 10:30. You are listening at novel full.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, I'm so tired today, so tired. I woke up at 6:45 in the morning and caught a cold. After washing, my nose kept running. Wearing 2 coats to have breakfast, returning to the dormitory to change into training clothes after finishing breakfast, and then going to the playground early to gather. When I left, I felt drowsy and sickly. I can't do it anymore, I'm going to crack open. I went to the playground to gather at 7:10 and stood on the playground until almost 9 o'clock. Although there was a few minutes of rest in the middle, I was still very painful and very tired. This morning's training, I didn't score at all. After using 3 sheets of paper, I ran out of paper. The nasal mucus has been stuck in the nose, which is particularly uncomfortable, and even breathing is not smooth. I only realized the importance of breathing at this point, as the depth of breathing can determine a person's mental state. When I train, I need a lot of energy, but if I can't keep up with my breathing, it can easily lead to hypoxia, so it's easy for me to feel dizzy. Isn't human life related to energy? Matter belongs to a type of energy, while spirit belongs to a type of energy. The more energy a person has, the more energetic they appear. After catching a cold, due to nasal congestion, the amount of air absorbed is reduced, energy is reduced, and the whole person is not very energetic, resulting in low efficiency in doing things. The training content is very monotonous and boring. There is some rest time, but I can't recover. I stayed up until noon, finished my meal, and returned to my dormitory. I didn't even have time to play games. I also need to take the online assessment of the student handbook. 100 questions have to be compared to 90 questions. It's too explosive. If I can't pass the online exam at once, I have to take a makeup exam offline and still can't read books. I made a last-minute attack and found that I really couldn't understand it. I didn't have the energy to read it anymore, it was too painful. After catching a cold, I had to train. If it weren't for being rained on yesterday and not paying attention to keeping warm, otherwise I wouldn't have caught a cold. Unfortunately, there is no such thing as if. I can only accept reality. I feel even more tired during the afternoon training. I slept for over an hour at noon, then got up and gathered. I feel like the afternoon time has passed so slowly. After training for more than 10 minutes, I feel like half an hour has passed. It would be great if I had this effect during my final sprint. Learning for 1 hour is equivalent to learning for 3 hours. I'm afraid I can only think about this efficiency. I also need to sing. In the afternoon training, I just open my mouth wide and my vocal cords don't move much. It's just water passing by. Training is really unpleasant. It's tiring and useless, and I've even ruined my body. I'm really going to crack open. But this kind of thing can only be said. Training still needs to continue. In the afternoon, I felt worn out for a long time. I just became completely decadent. Fortunately, I didn't learn anything, I just learned to keep smiling. When smiling, I still look a little energetic. At least I don't look listless or scolded. After catching a cold, I can't keep up with my breathing, so my energy can't keep up. I'm trying to adjust my body's state through exercise. My body was already a bit weak, but now I've caught a cold, which belongs to the syndrome of yin excess and yang deficiency. It's a bit troublesome. It is necessary to replenish yang energy to achieve a balance between yin and yang. Excessive exercise should not be done, but rather rest and nourish with food. If it doesn't work now, we'll have to find other ways. I want to learn the I Ching Jing. Let's start learning now. Today is really tiring, even though I have been smiling and facing today's life with a smile. It's both mental and physical, sometimes it's really different. Anyway, my body can't handle it anymore. But it's okay, no matter how difficult it is, you have to face it positively. After all, this is the fact. It can't be changed, we have to adapt. If I could change it, I would definitely try my best to change it instead of trying to avoid it. Anyway, I know my life should be more positive before I want to be what I want. A decadent life is not fun at all, but rather makes oneself more anxious and worried. If you want to look handsome, you still need to cultivate your mind. Phase arises from the heart. As long as I really want to change myself, I will do my best to change. If I can bear the cost, I will definitely be able to achieve it. The evening training is a bit easier, maybe it's not as sunny as before. I still have to sing, but I feel quite water when I sing. When you arrive at the dormitory, you are ready to write questions about the student handbook. Randomly choose 100 questions, which require 90 points to pass. If you fail the first online exam, you will have to take it offline, and you cannot turn over your books in the offline exam. My roommate and I have exam questions over the years. We searched for them directly on our phone and quickly got the answers. However, some of the questions are relatively new and require flipping through a book to find them. It was one by one breaking through, and by the end, the 6 of us worked together to solve the problem that was expected to take 90 minutes in just 5 minutes. I'm quite happy, I passed at least one exam. It's late at night, good night. October 31st. You are listening at novel full.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, I'm getting lazier and I don't really want to write a diary anymore. Today is also a very tiring day, and there is nothing that doesn't make training tiring. The most tense and stimulating thing was having breakfast for 5 minutes this morning. The efficiency is really high, surprisingly in terms of food. I am not sensitive to movements at all, and on the contrary, I am very slow. The movements that require training are basically dragging my feet, but I am very confident and not afraid at all. Training is simple training, and I don't seem to take it too seriously. I have been feeling a bit uncomfortable since catching a cold. It was okay without training, but after training, I got caught in the rain and my body collapsed. I am speechless. However, writing a diary every day has indeed made great progress in my thinking. Before, I used to feel a little confused every day, but now I feel much better. After knowing my daily trajectory, it feels like everything is under my own control. It's true that for many of us, every day passes unnoticed without leaving any trace, just like me, who can't remember what I did the last 2 days. I finally understand that the process is also extremely important. I used to think the outcome was the most important, but now I realize that the process is more important than the outcome. Although many people only want to see results, without a good process, it is difficult to achieve good results. Compared to setting unrealistic goals, implementing every small step well and planning what one should do for the goals every day is commendable. Anyway, let me share my thoughts. I believe that all things come together in different paths, just like what Laozi said. The Tao gives birth to 1, 2, 2, 3, and all things. My way is to turn 3 into 2, turn 2 into 1, and turn 1 into the way. This is my way, and I call this idea the return of all things to the source. And what I believe is the origin, which is the form and the inner spirit. The inside and outside are only relative, while the form and the spirit are progressive from concrete to abstract. I have always thought that as long as I attribute it to God through the form of all things in heaven and earth, I can prove my own way. But I have never had a clue. I am confused because I have not put my goals into action. This is a dream that I will pursue throughout my life. To pursue my path. But now I don't even know what my way is like. I only know that when Laozi was enlightened and preaching, his knowledge was so profound that I couldn't imagine it. I am not unwilling to learn the thoughts of Taoism, but rather I want to create my own thoughts. So I have only borrowed from the thoughts of Taoism and have not delved deeply or thoroughly explored them, nor have I gone up the mountain to study Taoism. Speaking of the connection between form and God, form is the external manifestation of God, and God is the internal essence of form. Form can nourish the mind, and the mind can accumulate form. However, the relationship between form and God is not absolute, which depends on the specific situation. That's why I learned physiognomy relatively quickly, because when I first started learning physiognomy, I looked at the shape. The appearance of the vast majority of people can reflect their inner selves, which is the principle that physiognomy comes from the heart. I used to think that as long as I found this God through form, I would succeed. But I never knew how to seek it. Today I realized how important the process is. Only by setting goals and implementing them step by step through actions can we possibly achieve them. Perhaps I won't get to the main point, I only know that the abstract concept of process is the bridge that connects form and God. Because the process requires layout, planning with a long-term perspective, and implementing with concrete actions, I refer to the process as the structure. So I believe that form and spirit are two sides of structure. Structure is the bridge between them, the core between them. And the structure needs to be perfected step by step on the basis of action. In terms of layout planning, it is necessary to consider from multiple dimensions. This way, goals and actions can be linked together. This is my current mindset. As for the goal, how to take action. I introduced a concept called structural model, just like the protagonist in a novel, which requires a large framework called an outline. And every novel we read has an outline. I have read about 10 or 20 novels, so we can simulate the protagonist's framework, thoughts, and methods, and apply them to our lives. Of course, this idea is not mature. What I mean is that we can organize our experiences, behavior habits, and thinking methods into one model after another, and apply it when applicable. This should be a great method, and we can also think and explore the problems we encounter through a multidimensional perspective and ideas. This is the big thinking framework I need. However, my thinking is still a bit narrow, so I want to be exposed to more knowledge and concepts, to reach out to more people, to learn more ideas, to collide with them, to merge them, and finally to remove those unnecessary things and preserve my most essential path. This is my idea. It's big enough, but because it's too big, it's all-inclusive. I didn't put in enough effort to find the book garden www.zhaoshuyuan.com and don't know how to implement the action. So I think structure is a good thing. Simply put, it means making a plan and then implementing it step by step. And constantly improving one's own plan in action is already a good method. But what kind of will is needed to achieve it? I have to say that these 14 days of training are a great opportunity to hone one's willpower. As for how to hone one's willpower to achieve one's goals, it also depends on one's own methods. I practice breathing eye contact while standing, and think while relaxing, but there seems to be a lot of thinking involved in the evening. I will look for a specific topic to constantly think about and explore multiple dimensions to think about. And record your thoughts, while also thinking about how to achieve them and what the thought process will be like. Training is really about putting one's mindset in order, and facing it with a positive attitude is like living a more comfortable life with a dejected head. I admit that I was not originally outstanding, it was only because I realized my own path that I was different from others. Who knows, everyone has their own way to go. I don't know what others look like, all I know is that I want to be myself. The same goes for gains and losses. I have gained a lot and also lost a lot. However, because of my teachings, I have learned that learning to lose is more important than learning to gain. So today we will discuss a topic of gains and losses. How to change oneself. It's hard to think the scope is too large, it should be narrowed down a bit. What we have is what we can lose. 11.1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, October has passed like this for the past month. As for how to start, since it has no purpose, let it live like this for now. I want to become better in the morning. We gathered and stood for half an hour like this. Then listen to the speech and forget what to say. The following is the fire protection content. Using a fire extinguisher and experiencing smoke escape from a makeshift escape room, the room was quite dark. Only the green escape sign can be seen. I took personal identification photos, but my hairstyle doesn't look very nice. I've been getting a lot of pimples lately. It's annoying. I'm not feeling well, and my detoxification and detoxification functions are not very good. I have caught a cold, runny nose, sprayed too much, and the nasal mucosa is damaged. It's a bit uncomfortable. I also took a group photo, holding a gun and placing many posts. I remember most of all, the instructor raised the gun with both hands and pointed it at us. It was fun. This morning's training was basically over. Well, then I had dinner, and when I returned to the dormitory, I touched my phone. It was almost 1 o'clock and I slept until 2:05. In the afternoon when I got up and looked in the mirror, I almost cracked open and had a lot of pimples all over my face. I know this is because I have a cold, and my body is a bit weak. All kinds of functions are a bit poor, and toxins and other things accumulate on my face. Anyway, my various organs. The functions of my internal organs are not very good. But don't panic, it's not a big problem. It will still slowly recover, but it's a bit uncomfortable to keep training under the sun now. I don't know when it will recover. These are just small things. The really important thing is that I need to find a martial arts technique to practice. Previously, when I practiced the I Ching Jing, I only learned other people's movements, not breathing. And the movements were not complete, so I learned the 12 moves. I'm too lazy to practice other movements now. I found a book about the breathing methods in the Book of Changes. I plan to make time to practice twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. I remember there was a time in high school when I practiced the I Ching Jing every night. I didn't have any acne and was very energetic, just very handsome. Later on, I became lazy and didn't find it interesting. I was also restless and didn't practice anymore at that time. My condition was not very good, but I still knew that the benefits of the I Ching Jing were very significant. I started practicing the I Ching Jing not because it was so good. But it's because I saw a novel called Abandoning the Universe, in which the protagonist relied on the I Ching Jing to cultivate the realm of foundation building. Although it is just a cultivation novel, the novel claims that the I Ching Jing is a peerless technique that can cultivate internal power. There is always an exaggeration in it. But I really believe it. Maybe I don't have talent, maybe the opportunity hasn't arrived yet, and after practicing for about a month, I became lazy. But my health has indeed improved a lot. I plan to continue learning the I Ching Jing and practice its breathing methods while training. I know Chinese Qigong is really good, but there are too few people who want to practice it. Massage is also good. We can never deny that acupuncture and moxibustion, massage, a traditional Chinese medicine technique, is also a feudal superstition. Anyway, China is a good thing, Chinese traditional functions, you are a good thing, and the tendon-changing classic is a particularly good thing. After watching the smiling proud Jianghu, Linghu Chong master the I Ching Jing and directly calm down the internal energy chaos of his star-absorbing technique. Okay, I admit that a lot of my knowledge comes from novels. But reading novels also has its benefits. At least my understanding is boundless, unrestricted, and vast. Forget it, continue practicing the I Ching Jing, wake up 25 minutes early every morning. Then you can have time to practice. I also practiced for 25 minutes at night, and my body is definitely strong. I will keep a daily record of my mood, process, breath, and feelings while practicing in the future. See what the effect will be. Not long after waking up in the afternoon, I went to gather. This afternoon, my body may have better endurance. I just don't feel so tired. I feel a bit more relaxed, although I still feel a bit tired during training. I looked at the tree in front of me. Staring at it intently, suddenly I had a slight illusion, feeling like the tree was like a gorilla. Then we come here to continue discussing yesterday's topic of how we can change ourselves. The first point is to know your own behavior pattern, and the method is to write a diary every day. The second point is to know your psychological thoughts and what you desire the most, so that you can use these things to motivate yourself and make yourself more motivated to move forward. The third point is to make a good plan and go all out to achieve it. Even if you are wrong, it doesn't matter. Writing a diary every day can help you improve your plan in a timely manner, and there won't be any major mistakes. However, the core of the plan cannot be changed. I forget everything after making changes, and I don't remember what my initial intention was like. Then we can discuss gains and losses. First, we need to know what we have and what we need most. If I want to change myself, what I want to lose is all my laziness, as well as those lazy personalities, which are a huge change, changing from the depths of my heart. It means losing all the bad things about oneself. This way, you can get a lot of things. What do I want to get? What I need most is time. Where does time come from? I need to play less games. I need to lose time playing games in order to get more time. Although this seems to have some logical flaws. I don't care, anyway, this is my diary, and that's how my thoughts go. But in the end, don't lose yourself. Losing until the end only leaves you with yourself. You will find that you have unconsciously gained a lot, many things. People are prone to sadness for their loss, but I am happy for my loss. Maybe I am a bit special. I always like to go against other people's thoughts and find my own ideas. I think this way, I can innovate and stand out. The fact is, I can think from a perspective that others cannot see. I also know a word: life is like a play. Sometimes I wonder if life is like a game. My life is just a chess piece in someone else's hand. At that time, I understood that I could also become a chess player. I am willing to be a white-collar person in this life and fight against myself. At this point, my gaze has increased to a higher dimension, and I can examine myself from a higher perspective. I can think more long-term. Indeed, sometimes life is really just a game. But it seems that unlike games, there is no chance to reopen. Perhaps our memory hasn't been updated, we're just playing an offline game, so life should still be lived well. The idea of life being like a game is just to allow us to better control our own lives. Just like how we control the characters in the game, isn't that easy? I actually learned this idea from novels. Just looking at what I saw in Beyond Time, those visionary people are all playing chess. That's the layout. Many people are just chess pieces in their hands. So I go against their thinking and want to become a chess player. My mind suddenly opened up. Of course, compared to those with a demonic mind, my thoughts are still very immature. If I can play less on my phone now, have my own plan, and execute it well, then I will already be very happy. I don't know how to improve my self-control tonight. Continue to water over. Tonight, I will be divided into blocks, and I will be assigned to learn stick techniques. There is also a new roommate I just met in college, besides the dormitory, who is a good and sociable friend. His name needs to be written in a poem. Qin Qin Chao Mu Sheng, candid and thoughtless, exuding a majestic aura, with mountains and seas imbued with meaning. Alright, I just need to know his name myself, otherwise it will involve other people's privacy, which I am quite hesitant about. After all, I also want to be an honest person. A novel always needs the style of an author. The novels I read are also like this, very imposing, yet very domineering and straightforward, full of grandeur. This. I am quite good to my friends. So I don't have many friends, and in high school, there was also one who had connections with men, and 2 or 3 women. There are only so many friends left. I don't know about the university yet. But it's also quite good. Especially my senior sister and classmates from the massage club, they are all very nice and can be seen from their faces. The students from the discipline inspection department of the student union are also very good. That's right, I don't know how many people will accept me. My thoughts are quite unique. I walked a few steps earlier than my peers. At least it's like this here. It's just that my resources can't keep up. I'm still thinking about starting a business in my junior year, although I don't have much idea at the moment. But still making plans. Since you have friends, let's talk about strangers who are not friends. My principle is to treat others with a smile from the beginning. Then let's take a look at the situation. If we're chatting, then we're more enthusiastic. If you don't give me a good face, Give him 2 more chances. If it's still too much, then it's judged that he will always be a stranger. He doesn't have the right to make me angry about him yet. It's not that I look down on him, but that I didn't even look at him. This is a great way to maintain a good mood. I casually recorded her negative impression of me, and then I forgot anything about her, and there was no causal relationship anymore. Well. Tonight, after taking a shower, I chatted with my good friend on WeChat. I used my spare phone to chat with my good friend, but didn't look at my phone. When I open my phone, I see a message. Turn down or turn off the music. After seeing it, I felt a bit confused. What was the situation? I looked at the name and didn't know what bird it was, and there was also a chat record. I looked a bit familiar with the profile picture and thought for a moment. I sent an "oh" message and found that it couldn't be sent out. The first reaction is that someone else has set a ban on sending messages. Taking another look at the previous news, clicking on QQ's dormitory group, I see that it is indeed my roommate. I suddenly became angry. That bird is right next door to me, right behind me, and actually reminds me by sending messages, which shows that our relationship is not good. Then look again, I remember adding friends. I was able to send messages before. This indicates that our relationship has broken. I won't be sad or distressed about someone with a bad relationship. I thought about my experience with him again. He used to chat with a woman on WeChat and posted it directly without anyone mentioning him. I chatted until evening without mentioning him. The tone of his voice is not pleasant, and I didn't say anything about him. Doing things makes me feel nauseous, I didn't say anything about him. The morning alarm woke me up, but I didn't say anything about him. Facing me without saying a word, I didn't say anything about him. He has affected me, and I can tolerate it because it's a dormitory. Harmony is the key. By the way, there was a student handbook question before, and I even helped him with it, Grandpa. Okay, let's not analyze the rest. It can only be said that he is not a good bird, as I can tell, sir. Since that's the case, it's a split. I won't have a good face towards him in the future. Seeing him is as good as seeing the air. Anger only wastes my emotions. Finding a book garden www.zhaoshuyuan.com makes me tired. Why use the word grandpa? Because I'm quite angry. He actually doesn't know the meaning of harmony and the key to harmony. That can only be said that he has no threat to me. I wouldn't trust him at all, even if he's my roommate and we meet every day, so what? When I was in high school, I was also isolated by my roommate and still treated him like air. Then I blacklisted him, cleared all the chat information, and that's it, break up. By the way, I didn't delete WeChat, which left a glimmer of hope. Anyway, I haven't done it completely, and it's his responsibility to do it. It seems that I am still a bit tolerant. The protagonist of the novel, encountering murders and hostility, decisively kills. As for me, if I don't have the ability to do so, let's stay on the front line. From then on, the well water will not invade the river. Don't let a good mood be ruined by such a small matter. I will encounter more in the future. I wrote down my principles. I am a kind person. Because I want to do it. I know my fate and am easily envied by petty people. I can tolerate it, but this time it's my bottom line. I judge that my roommate is not worth dating and I am not worth wasting my emotions. Let it go like this, he won't stay in my memory, my past. He is just a stranger to me. Alright, that's it. Smile, always smile, even if you are unhappy. It's a bit difficult to smile when you're messed up like this, but it's okay. I just thought someone had a strong presence. I don't allow me to do this, and my way doesn't allow me to do it either. Compromised and hypocritical, it has never been me. I just want to be myself, I want to change myself, I want to transform this life day and night. 11.2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. I find it really comfortable to write a diary. I was originally in a bad mood last night, but after finishing writing, my mood improved. Indeed, writing a diary allows me to have a clear understanding of myself. We can make timely adjustments and stop losses in a timely manner. Change your style today and write in classical Chinese. This morning, after waking up, I fell into a false sleep and woke up in an instant. The cold weather made it difficult to sleep and the body was cold. The external symptoms of yin excess and yang deficiency were neither solid or deficient, and the medicine was difficult to treat. I need to step by step, using my martial arts to supplement yang deficiency and relieve yin coldness. Looking back at it, I can see that all living beings in heaven and earth are just one path. I am very tired and the training is non-stop, so I think about the method of massage. Forget it, tell me about this morning's situation. These past few days should have been a great time for students. Learning lunge in the morning. Horse stance. Kneeling stance. My feet are all weak. Fortunately, I have learned some massage techniques, otherwise I wouldn't be able to recover for a long time. After writing classical Chinese for a while, I started thinking in classical Chinese. Suddenly, I thought to myself, did ancient people think in classical Chinese? I thought it over carefully and it seems that it is indeed so. We modern people use ordinary language to think about problems. The form of classical Chinese is very rare. But vernacular requires a lot of words to describe, and compared to classical Chinese, the difference is really significant. If we use the form of classical Chinese to think about the efficiency of thinking, it will indeed be much faster, but it is difficult to adapt at the beginning. If it goes on later, there may be a significant change in the way our thinking operates. Because the advantage of classical Chinese is that it is more abstract, blurry, and requires more imagination and cooperation from one's own brain. Moreover, the language and vocabulary spoken in classical Chinese will be even more magnificent. In the afternoon, there will be a fire drill. First, I talked to myself and then waited for the leader to arrive. Then, I went upstairs and waited. The artificially created smoke appeared, so I covered my mouth and nose with a hat and went downstairs. The person with a strong smell of gunpowder really smelled bad. I ran too slowly, took several breaths, and couldn't bear the mucous membrane of my nose. After the fire drill, I went to the playground and gathered. I was assigned a stick block and received a stick. It was really cool to pose and take photos. That stick is okay, it's a little shorter than me. After receiving the sticks and queuing up, we finished the exercise and went back to eat. I live in Area A, and following the main army, I have to go to the cafeteria in Area A for a meal. There are a lot of people, but the food is scarce. I'll just leave the main unit and go to Zone B for dinner. B district is really good. I have hardly seen any dishes there, and there are not many people there. It's also very cheap. I will have more opportunities to eat in the future. But there shouldn't be many opportunities. Then in the evening, I changed into casual clothes and went to the gathering. I put on a shirt and put on another layer of shirt outside. It was a bit out of place. Because the weather is a bit cold, and all I have is a shirt. Fortunately, pairing a shirt with a shirt is not particularly difficult to bear, and I can still handle it. After the evening, there was nothing else to do, and I didn't have to do anything to stand for more than half an hour. It was so tiring. I trained too hard this morning and my legs were sore. Fortunately, there was a stick, it was like giving me a leg. Great. Then the instructor talked about many types of stick techniques and the names of the stick techniques that need to be learned. Anyway, I don't quite remember. I need to remember tonight, and I haven't memorized the acupoints and techniques for massage yet. I might be a bit busy tonight, it's already 10:30, so I might have to wait a little longer to go to bed. Let me continue writing my diary. The evening is over, so I'll go for a run. Finally, I can finish 25 runs. 25 is a good number, to be honest, it's really a good number. A number that changed my destiny was just a relatively promiscuous little rascal, until I reached class 25 in high school, just an ordinary class. There, I found myself, found light, and found a new self. From then on, I will no longer follow the crowd, nor be the puppet that is being manipulated by others. I am not a chess piece controlled by others. I have become a chess player, and I have my own thoughts, behavior standards, and judgment methods. Not to mention anything else, 25 has allowed me to grow and directly crossed a major stage. I am immensely grateful for 25. 25 is the most important thing for me and the most beautiful memory of my life. I am a grateful person, and for me, 25 will never be forgotten. After finishing the run, I returned to the dormitory. It was so smoky and unpleasant at all. There is a bird who said I played music outside and deleted my friend. I am still thinking about whether to block his WeChat account. Just think about it, this kind of puppet is just manipulated by someone, it's not worth wasting my energy. Cursing him may still help him, it's not worth it. However, my mood is still a bit bad. Some people have no upbringing at all. They don't understand the principle of not doing to others what they don't want. The ideology of Confucianism is not good, and the ideology of Taoism is not well studied. Without one's own thoughts, it is like being manipulated by modern capitalism. Looking for a book garden www.zhaoshuyuan.com is just a puppet that is at the mercy of others. There's no need to make me waste my efforts. Then, tonight, my good brother Lao Qin borrowed 150 from me. This is not the point is that Lao Qin has become handsome again. Old Qin has always been very handsome, but it's been too long since I saw him. I feel like he's even more handsome, and there's a refreshing feeling. After a glance, all the bad feelings are gone. That's amazing. Some people's facial expressions and temperament are so charming, it's the highest level of facial expressions I've ever seen. Very gentle, very clear. As for the breath, it can't be seen through the screen, but it doesn't affect my good brother's handsomeness. Destiny is really a strange thing that gives you both the best and the worst. If you don't cherish the good things, you will encounter the worst. Poor, if you don't abandon it, you will only be able to do nothing for a lifetime, and can only look up to the sky and sigh. I don't know why, I just understand so much, maybe it's my Tao. I lost most of my emotions because of the Tao, but gained more meaning. As the saying goes, learning to lose is more important than learning to gain. Timely stop-loss is also important. I quite agree with that viewpoint. We need to choose our goals wisely and then move forward foolishly towards them. I have exhausted all my heart and soul to find my way, and now, I have given up most of my emotions. I want to walk my own path. I want to become the chess player in charge of my own piece. One day, my path will cross the entire universe, and my dream is to pursue my path to the fullest. Although it's a bit unrealistic, it doesn't affect me from pursuing my path. Tonight, let's try to think in classical Chinese and have a look. Good night.